Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Vicky Iozia. I'm proud to be the first president of the League of Women Voters of Citrus County. We are going to start our meeting as if our guest speaker is here. And when we have the moment of prayer, please let's pray that she's okay and that she makes it. I want to welcome everybody here. And I would like to tell you to please turn your cell phones off or mute them and make sure you turn off your Apple Watches too. This meeting is being recorded and we will be available on the website. God willing, if that works, will be available on our website and in our next newsletter. Please stand if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. To be seated. You should have gotten one of these reminders, should be on your seat. It reminds you of all of our upcoming activities. Also, on the whiteboard up there, we have a meeting. We're starting a monthly meeting for League of Women Voters members at the Cattle Dog Restaurant in Inverness. So if you are a member, take that information. We'd love to see you there. We had a nice group of people last time. We had a really good discussion. We don't have any agenda for it or anything. We're just getting together and supporting each other, right? And thinking good thoughts. Some deep thinkers are there. I go too. There are brochures in the back. There's a wonderful display that Rosemary Mills has done about keeping our kids and ourselves safe from guns. I'm going to switch the agenda a little bit, and I want to introduce our board members. And when I introduce you, if you have any announcements, please announce them. How many of you here are members? All right, good. If you're not and you want to find out how to be a member, grab a board member before you leave. How many of you get the newsletter? Okay, how many of you read the newsletter? That's pretty good. Okay. So here are our board members. Linda Abels. Membership. You want to come up here so everybody can hear you? We've had changes in membership. Oh boy, don't we love change? Oh, yeah.
Change is my favorite thing. Not. Uh, Membership now is being controlled or we're told how to do it by League of Women Voters US. So it used to be that you could join online or join us, fill out our form, and that was the end of it. Well, not anymore. And there have been a number of issues since this started in February. Um, Supposedly it's fixed, but we'll see. In the meantime, if your membership, a lot of members are due June 1st. You can either go online to our website and pay with a credit card, or you can send us a check to our P.O. Box, which is 1903 in Lecanto Post Office. If you have any questions and you're not sure when you're due for your membership renewal, please see me. I brought a list and I can help you out. Um, Otherwise, we look forward to you continuing to you joining us and continuing your membership and bring your friends. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next board member, Beverly Brown. There she is. Maxine Connor. Do you have announcements? Come on up. Maxine is our natural resources chair, and she lives the environment. And you know what's happening with laws about the environment. So I think I'll give you a little massage here before you talk. She's trying to do
Thank you.
what can be done to try to make it so that we have things like clean water, clean air, those, those things.
We try, and sometimes we just feel like we're, oh no, rolling a stone uphill. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. So yesterday I spent most of the day in front of the Hernando BOCC in the audience till we got a chance to speak. The reason was they're trying to roll back the rainy season ban in their fertilizer ordinance. And it's really important to keep that from June through the end of September when we got a chart from NOAA and it showed a beautiful bell curve, June through September. That's when most of the rainfall happens. That's where fertilizer washes off into the aquifer, to our waterways and springs, out to the estuary, out to the Gulf. We have miles and miles of seagrass beds there that are seagrass preserve. All that can be influenced by too much nitrogen and potassium. So we thought we were going to lose because they had put it on the agenda to roll that back. 12 people got up and spoke. I was one of them. And to our surprise, it happened quickly and we were just like amazed. And they said, no, leave it the way it is. After an hour and a half of debate, and we're squirming in our seats like we're going to lose this. So anyway, thank you, God. But last night I wanted to pass a little bit of, what's that? Okay, okay. But last night, Ryan Smart from Florida Springs Council, he's executive director, and he had an hour-long webinar on Facebook and also on YouTube. And his executive director, Chloe, helped him. He went over the legislation. I'm going to send you the link if you're interested in that. It's an excellent source. If you don't mind, I'm just going to get my water because my throat is bleeding.
And that's the reason that we need our water sources protected.
He'll go over the important bills, but there's some I wanted to mention. The session stopped and they're going to come back and they're going to do the budget. They're not done. But Ryan has an amazing tool that he'll send out an action alert. So what you want to do is if you're interested in participating as a citizen, you'll get an action alert when a bad bill is coming or a good bill, mostly a bad bill. And you go in there and you just put your zip code and your information and it opens up the tool and they have they've done already the communication. You can adjust it the way you want. You can delete it and put your own, and it goes to the proper legislators to tell them, this is a good bill, pass it, or this is awful, take that out. And they've done the work for us, Florida Springs Council. And it's a wonderful tool for you to communicate with your legislators and made a huge difference this time. The plastic preemption bill that they tried to tack on to another bill where it didn't belong. See, Rainbow Springs and other places say, don't bring your water bottles to Rainbow Springs. Plastic is not allowed. It gets in the river. Many municipalities and counties have plastic preemption bills like that. And they tried to do away with them. So they want to like say preemption is a bad thing. It's the state telling the cities and counties, no, you can't pass a protective ordinance that says don't bring your plastic on the river. And it would have undone all the ones that exist, and there's pages of them. So that was wrong. So we stopped it. And we stopped it because of the leadership of Florida Springs Council. He created a whole coalition of conservation organizations to do this. They're all part of this system. It made a huge difference this time. The State Parks Protection Bill, they were going to put hotels and golf courses and pickleball courts. They were going to develop, in other words, large lodging facilities. And we wanted our state parks to stay natural so we can enjoy the nature because there's so much development everywhere. We wanted it not to be there. And that was successfully defeated. And we got to last night we got to thank the legislators that made that happen. Senator Harrell had a bill, and there was another, I forget, Snyder was another one who cooperated with her. So you had to have a House bill and a Senate bill. The Senate bill went bad. They used the House bill. And I was like, oh, I can't believe it. This is good. And then a third one, a bad one they stopped. They wanted to do a oil drilling exploration well in the Apalachicola Bay region. It's not around here, but it's a delicate estuary, a delicate sensitive ecosystem like the ones we have here. We have rivers and springs here in Crystal in Citrus County, like nowhere else in the world. There's sensitive ecological areas. And what happens is you have a wide continental shelf here. It's your estuary. That's the incubation place for your fish and your marine life that then grows up. They're babies, they get born there, they grow up, they go out into the ocean. Sensitive areas, you don't want drilling there. So they were going to drill. And this system, thousands of emails went out, thousands of calls went out because people listened. So go on the Florida Springs Council website, just sign up to be informed. If you want to give them money, that's great. They'll so appreciate it. So anyway, legislators stopped the session. They'll be back to pass the budget. There's 4 budget bills. And then if you click onto that webinar, I'm going to try to get you the slides too, so that if you don't want to do the whole webinar, you could just leaf through the slides. There's 4 budget bills. One of them is natural resources, and that's appropriation bill. And there's another one that's funding for environmental resource management. So we hope that the House and the Senate is far apart in agreeing on the budget. We hope they'll get together and do it right, but there may be things that just don't get done this year because they can't seem to, they're far apart now. We just hope that they get their act together and do it. There was an administrative procedures bill and it passed unanimously, and it requires agencies to adopt rules within 7 months, and it allows a 3-month extension with a notice. That's an important bill because the Department of Environmental Protection in Florida never defined what is harm to our waterways. They were required by law to do it. 8 years went by and they didn't do it. Florida Springs Council brought action against them, legal action against them, and we're going to get a decision pretty soon on it. But this is a good bill because it requires them to adopt rules within 7 months, not 7 years. So they weren't following they were not following the state laws, our own state agency. So there were a few others there are a few others that passed, but I'm going to tell you about one of them. It's called the Boater Freedom Act, and it passed, but we're worried about it because it will not allow you or local government to establish a springs protection zone. So Weeki Wachee River, I worked with a bunch of people to try to, our local Sierra Club, to try to get a springs protection zone for the Weeki Wachee River. And it passed. And it was a long, involved process. They had to do a big study. It took 2 to 3 year period. We finally went before the FWC, Florida Wildlife Commission, and they're the ones that declared it. This Boater Freedom Act, it was amended to include language that will make it virtually impossible for FWC, who granted the Springs Protection Zone for Weeki Wachee, to establish a Springs Protection Zone, period. So that is not a good piece of legislation. I got a hunch that maybe people who have motorboats probably promoted it. A section of the bill also prohibits restrictions of the sale or use of watercrafts based on energy source. See, it could motorboat, kayak, the difference. we're concerned that this could open the door for motorboats and other vessels in sensitive recreation and fishing areas. So that's a really upsetting bill that they pass. Let's see. There's a wetland mitigation banking bill that passed that we don't like because it allows for mitigating outside your watershed. In other words, if we're going to develop here, you could say, oh, I'm going to mitigate land over there in Orlando if there's any land left. Um, I'll do something good and preserve that land over there, but it's out of your watershed, so that's not helping your watershed. And then I think that's the most important stuff you want to know. Thank you for listening. I always feel like I take too much time, but the stuff is important, and I think you want to know it.
We do. Thank you.
Because knowledge is power. Okay, thank you, Vicki. Much appreciated. Thank you.
If you noticed, if you're familiar with it, there's preemption going on. And what that is that the state is telling the communities what they can do. You know, sometimes I feel like my brain is going to explode with all the stuff that's going on. Has it? No, not yet. Okay. With what's going on in the national news, all the stuff that's unconstitutional, and what's going on locally. And I think, oh my God, how are we ever going to get through this? How are we going to stop this? And then I think about, oh, maybe 50 years ago when I was a kid in college and the Vietnam War was going on, and we watched it when we were having dinner at night, and I had friends who came home in body bags, and I thought to myself, this is never going to end. This is terrible. But you know what? This is going to end, and we are going to have the right thing done for us. We need people like Maxine Connor, who stays up nights worrying about the environment. When she sends me an email, whether it's the Florida Springs Council or something else, and says, write to one of your uh, legislators, I just do it immediately because she knows what she's talking about. And I'm so proud and happy to be part of the League of Women Voters because all these board members are really smart people about a lot of different things. And you are smart people, otherwise you would not be here today. Whether you get to hear our, yes, whether you get to hear our speaker or not, you are smart people and we need to work together because working together, you know, Maxine has parts of the puzzle that I don't have, so I go to her. BJ has other parts of the puzzle, so I go to her. If we work together, better times are going to come. I really believe that. Dr. BJ Ezell is coming up right now. Yeah.
Good morning. Just wanted to see if you were awake, and you are. I am
Taller than I am.
and you're not even short, you're just vertically challenged. About that. I'm Dr. BJ Ezell, 50 years of nursing and a few other degrees back there. I retired this past year, but my love is healthcare. With that being said, I worked through the crisis, the pandemic of COVID. And so I thought I was going to retire yet again. That didn't quite work out. Because then the next big thing on the horizon, which has sneaked into our country and other countries, is an increased use of opioids. And I thought, oh my gosh, what can we do? Well, there is something called Narcan, and I see heads nodding, so I like that. So this will be short and sweet. Ours is not to promote drug use. It is to save a life and try and encourage that person or persons to go to rehab, to get therapy assistance. And it can happen. In 2021, I was just speaking with, what's your name again right here?
Sandy.
Sandy. And I said, well, let me look it up real quick to see how many deaths there have been. Because in this county, yes, this wonderful county of ours, in 2021, there were 100 COVID deaths. I'm sorry, opioid deaths right here in this county, a small county of 150,000. Already this year to date, that number has dropped drastically. But one death is one death too many. And if it's somebody you know or your family member, it's one too many. So far this year, we've had 4 deaths. One of the things that I asked the county to allow me to continue to do is to go to any individual that I saw and tell them, I'm not soliciting, I'm giving. So this is Narcan. And rather than give out one box, at one point these were $145 a box. The cost is now down to $45 a box. But I stand here today free, and anyone can walk into the health department and ask for 5 boxes, no name or anything asked. They may ask you if you're over 18 or not. They may. In addition to that, it is full of information about how to get help and emergency contact. So how is it used? And I can tell you, I can tell it to a 5-year-old and they get it. So I know you'll get it, right? I just heard you were smart, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you find someone unconscious and you suspect opioid use. And I'm talking about fentanyl, hydrocodone, all of those. And even if you're not sure that it's an opioid overdose, you are protected by the state of Florida's Good Samaritan law, whether you're an individual or whether it's a business. So you find them unconscious and you're not sure. You call 911 and you try and arouse them. If they don't arouse, you use one of these nasal sprayers. There are 2 in each box into one of their nostrils. And there's a plunger, just like doing a sink, huh? And you just press that. If they do not regain consciousness in 3 minutes, you use the second one in the first box and you spray into the other nostril. And you alternate every 3 minutes until they wake up or until help arrives. People are dying. And it's not just the young'uns, as I say. Just last week, I had someone from another of my clubs call and say, I'm really concerned because I'm having to use more hydrocodone than I thought I should be having, but I have such great pain. And I said, okay, get some Narcan in every room in your house. And I met up with her and I did so. And she did have an accident. Fortunately, her daughter had been visiting, and her daughter knew that there was some in every room. So it's not just the youngins, people who have chronic pain, people who have had surgeries. Uh, the drugs work and they are able to recover from their injuries or whatever, but people are still dying. So I beseech you to either get to the health department, get 5 boxes free, keep it in your car. These boxes are good until January 2027. Just keep it in the coolest place in your car, even though it's really hot outside. The glove compartment, the console, or your trunk if you have a closed trunk. And if you need to, I do have some for free today. There are 2 boxes in each packet. Thank you for listening. Yes. Did I see a hand? Is there something else? Oh, the funding. The funding is federally supported. And then, well, yeah, like all the other things that are federally right now. I'll say no more. But yes, it's still being supported until we either run out or they find out and they cut us off, okay? So at one point, I couldn't even go to businesses. So I would go to a business though, and I would say, I'm not soliciting, I'm giving, but I can't talk to you about what I have unless I give it to you as an individual. So we just step outside on the sidewalk and we talk about it, and people are very receptive. Did I see another hand? Yes, ma'am. I'll get to you. You're next, ma'am.
How many times does it take Narcan to get somebody to revive?
Sometimes only one. And it's dependent on, remember, all these drugs that they're taking, especially the illicit ones, who knows what's in them? Okay. So sometimes just one, sometimes 2, but you just keep giving it until they revive. I didn't miss you.
Okay.
Yes.
So you said use one in the nose.
Mhm.
If you have to do another, use the second one?
Yes, there
Are
are
you
two
saying
in,
there's not like a couple of squirts in each one?
there are two in each box.
Right,
And some people just give out one box. I always give two boxes.
but you just do one squirt and that's done.
That's
You have to
right.
Go to the second one and you do one squirt and it's done.
You're correct.
It's not like 2 or 3 squirts in each one.
No, there's only one. This
Okay.
is 4 milligrams of Narcan. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, one more way in the back. We'll talk fast.
How about other transition? Is what if the person is unresponsive and it's not related to drugs and you give them Narcan? What can you expect for a reaction? And what do you do about that reaction if it occurs?
Okay. And that's a very good question. If you don't know, use the Narcan anyway. But the key factor is if they have a heartbeat but no pulse. Okay? Opioids give the brain a sensation to stop breathing. That's the key. So if it turns out that it wasn't an opioid overdose, the reaction for any drug is something because drugs are foreign into our bodies, correct? So whatever the reaction is, whether it be a rash or a headache, or I'm talking about the ones I've heard about, or coughing or nausea, I think that's a minor price to pay trying to save a life. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, BTA. Now, you might have thought I was playing with my phone over here, but I want to read this to you hot off the presses, as they say. This is Nichelle with Yayas. I am so sorry. I must have forgotten to put this on my calendar. I'm in a grant writing session with my supervisor. What time do you need me here? And I said to her, how soon can you get here? Our meeting is at 10. We are punting. Can you come? So I'm going to put this right here so I can find out if she's going to be able to come. You know, they say when you want something done, give it to a busy person. I say don't do that because you drive that person totally nuts. Next one on the board is me, Vicky Iozia. And next is Jan Hall. Jean Messersmith. There she is. Okay. Rosemary Nils. She has some announcements, I know.
I had to write them down. Okay, well, the first thing Vicky has already mentioned, and that's cattle dog for our members. So don't forget that. We'll send the mic. Yeah, so we'll send out a reminder about that. And I have a few little itty bitty reminders about the cattle dog. Don't forget our Facebook page. We do try and keep our members and people who visit our Facebook page up to date
How many
on events.
women voters Facebook page?
Okay, good. Okay,
Check it out.
okay.
Wonderful.
I think it's already mentioned, but Holly Davis, next Wednesday on Zoom. Now, I have a few of these that I brought, but it's already on your reminders. But it's also on our Facebook page. But with all the development that's happening in Citrus County, you don't want to miss this Zoom. I didn't go to the BOCC meeting yesterday, but I know there were some people here that did. And there were lots of fireworks, so you don't want to miss Holly. I also have a list of legislators. I brought a few copies. This has been in the newsletter, but I can't, say it enough. Call them. I feel very fortunate. I'm a lot of times getting a human being. Yesterday, when I called Senator Ngolia's office, this young lady let me pour out my soul about education. And she said, okay, I'll tell him. And I said, I also sent a detailed email. Oh, yeah, he reads his email. He will probably get back to you. So I'm encouraging you and anybody who's using that 5 calls app, if we have time. Okay, so the gun locks in the back, they are from the Veterans Administration Suicide Prevention Line. BJ's got one there. And there are partners and our benefactors. This is federal funding. And we just got 2 new boxes. It's part of our initiative, the League of Women Voters of Florida, Safe Storage, Save Lives. So we are certainly focused on families with young children and teens. There's Peggy holding up our beautiful sign.
Thank you.
That was made by the league. Yes, thanks, Vanna. But at any rate, the reason I'm bringing this up to you is if you're a member or a visitor and you'd like to get involved, we do tabling. We speak at events. The league, we have things prepared, and we're hoping to work with the schools and the sheriff's office again, but we're working with various community agencies already who share our material. Okay, if you're a member, you got an email from me a couple of days ago about the education budget. As Maxine pointed out, the state legislators did most of their job, but the main thing that they're called to do, the only thing they're called to do and required to do is pass a budget. And they didn't do it. And let me give you a little more background. Um, the Senate, the Florida Senate, along with the governor, want to eliminate property taxes. And, follow that because that's going to become very important. Meanwhile, the state house, they want to cut back sales tax. And this is really important. If you have an opinion, um, you know, call these folks, call the governor. I was at a chamber meeting last Friday, and Rebecca Bays, county commissioner, she was the guest speaker, and she opened it up to Q&A. And so I asked from the audience, well, what about this? What do you think about that proposal to get rid of property tax? She didn't say it's not a very good idea. Here's what she said instead. They've calculated this. It would cause our sales tax to go up to 12%. 12%. And Rebecca Bay stood there and said, look, that is unfair, especially to the economically disadvantaged population, because they would pay it, disproportionately. Disproportionate to the wealthy people. So she didn't like it a bit. She also brought up the idea of the House that about reducing that sales tax. And meanwhile, she and the county commissioners, they're pushing to raise the sales tax. So, but this is all important to us because it is going to impact our lives. The money has to come from somewhere. So, which brings me to my point. The email I sent you was about public education because the League of Women Voters of Florida and us, we support public education as the cornerstone of democracy. We don't like our tax money going to private voucher schools or to home education, neither of which have any oversight. Totally unaccountable to the taxpayers, whereas public education is accountable. Well, some very accountable programs are on the chopping block. That is high school programs, career tech ed, where kids learn to be dental assistants or where kids learn to be culinary, engineering type things, healthcare professions. IT people, the construction. We have a construction academy in Citrus County. These are all they're all facing a 50% cut, along with the AP, which allows kids, any kid, regardless of income, can get college credits for free while they're in high school. Same with International Baccalaureate and CAIS, which is college accredit. It's similar. Okay. And then dual enrollment, where we can have our high school kids for free going to Withlacoochee Tech during the day or going to College of Central Florida. 50% cuts. Well, you can tell this has me pretty agitated because Florida wants workforce, and here they are cutting. So the numbers in Citrus County, I think we had 367 kids in those programs. Only 183 of them would get funding. Now, you know darn well the school district isn't going to say to the other 183, sorry, you have to go do something else. They're going to find a way because they're good people. Something else is going to have to be cut. What's it going to be? Materials, lab materials, professional development for the staff, good certified teachers that we can't afford to pay anymore, field trips for the middle school kids to learn about college and careers. Something's got to give. So I'm urging you, begging you, call Senator Ngolia if you're from Citrus or whoever your senator is. It's JJ Grow, our representative here. It's easiest if you leave a message, but it's great when you get a human being because they will talk to you and then you can get passionate like I do. Maxine.
Word up a message to Ben Jacobs.
Yes, I'm going to send another email because when I sent the one last week, we thought they were going to be back. Yes, for Monday. We thought they were coming back and that they were going to finalize the budget by this week. They didn't because they can't agree about this sales tax versus property tax. But what that does for us is it buys us more time. So we can badger them to death if we. I didn't say that. I hope you're not recording this. We can badger them. Okay. Okay. So yeah, yeah, just make them sorry that they ever thought about voting for it. Okay. And my last thing. Okay, and where's Jean McCauley? She's here. She's our petition gatherer, and Maxine and Peggy, the Medicaid petitions and the right to clean water. As you know, HB 1205 passed, was signed immediately into law by the governor. He couldn't get there fast enough. So basically, our process for citizens to get a ballot to the initiative is temporarily ended. So I just happened to look a little bit ago. There's breaking news. League of Women Voters of Florida has signed on to a lawsuit to intervene. It's a federal lawsuit to challenge that new law, which creates all those barriers to people like you and me and Jean and Peggy and Maxine and everybody who ever gathered one or signed one. So stay tuned, and I'm going to ask Peggy or Jean if you have, or Maxine, if you have any more updates on those petitions. And the last thing I'm going to say is I haven't done that 5 calls app because I have them in my phone. I'm driving. I tell Siri, call so-and-so, call Rick Scott, call Ashley Moody, Gus Bilirakis, whatever. But I know there's people in this room that use it. And if we have time before Nichelle gets here, please do someone tell us how to use it because I need to get it too. I think that's it. All right. Thanks for listening.
The Clean Water, initiative petition forms, Jean's gonna allow me with them.
They're awful. Well, we've got about 550, or about 550 that's pretty been approved by our SOE.
Right.
But right to clean water is completely on hold right now.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I'd like for them to extend the deadlines, but because they did this to us, that ain't gonna happen. All right.
Is the Medicaid one on hold?
Peggy has an update on that. Or Jean,
And Peg,
the Medicaid people still want you to turn them in, but you have to be sent to the SOE within 10 days. Because that's what the law says right now.
So-
wait to see what happens with the lawsuit.
I'm seeing some faces with trying to figure out what's going on. What is happening is the law has been signed by our eminent governor to make it a lot more difficult to get petitions to put something on the ballot.
Medicaid petition. Well, I got first.
The Medicaid petition? Peg, why don't you come up? Peg Primo is the second president, and I'm going to have her talk to that. But before she gets here, do you see what's going on? You see this woman, Rosemary? She's a nervous wreck over all the stuff that's going on. She's
Some people crawl under the cover.
she's passionate. And I'm going to ask you to do something today. You didn't know I was going to ask you to do something, but please, even if you think that our elected officials are not going to listen to you, please make a promise to at least once a week send something to Rick Scott. Send something to Ron DeSantis. If you want to call, phone numbers are in the newsletter, on the website. And tell them what you believe and tell them what you want them to do, because even if you think it's not going to make a difference, I've been to Blaise Ngolia's workshop, and his major concern is keeping his job.
We're getting the next one.
You remember years ago that it must have been on television because it's stuck in my head. Vote and the choice is yours. Don't vote and the choice is theirs. Please. You don't have to make them die, but we don't have to make them die, but please make them know that there are people who feel and want to have done the way you want it done and not what they're doing. There's just so much to keep up with. So please stop me here, Peg. Go ahead.
You're doing great. So, does this look familiar? Raise your hand if you've ever signed a petition. Okay, great. Now, what these are simply a statement by you as a voter that you think it's a good idea to put this on the ballot and then everyone votes on it. It's not saying, I agree with the law or I'm going to vote one way or the other. It just says, there's something missing that the legislatures didn't do or did wrong, and we want to fix it. And Florida is only one of 16 states where people can do this. It's called direct democracy. So the people can organize themselves, work really hard to make the petition as legally sound as possible, and then depend on all us grandmas and Jillian volunteers to try to collect these all over the state. And there's so many rules. We've had this right since 1968, but all the time the legislature is saying, let's make it harder. Let's say they have to get 8% from all of 14 counties by December 31st. But let's not approve the petition till 8 months before. I mean, it's very, very complicated. And the threshold for passing an amendment is 60%. So my argument is, this law 1205 is saying, oh, people didn't do it right last time. There were some people who forged signatures. Therefore, we have to have way more rules and way more hurdles and way more cost because a few people. But the thing is, the supervisors of elections figured that out. The supervisors of elections caught the bad petitions. Okay. And at worst, they were like maybe 1%. So for the one of the amendments last year, there were 1.4 million petitions collected, and the supervisors of elections stopped validating when they hit the target. But even if 1% of those weren't good, you still had another 500,000 to work with. That's one point. Another point is there was the citizen-led amendments from last year, amendments 3 and 4, that were on our ballots, got 56 and 57% of the vote, respectively. Well, if they were such terrible ideas and so unpopular and so crooked, why did that majority of Floridians say, hey, yeah, that's a good idea, I'm going to vote for that? So I'm trying to say it's overkill. I'm also trying to just express my impotent rage. This is such a basic thing. It is such an important right and a privilege in this state. And to have it chipped away like this tells you only one thing, and that is the legislature does not want to share lawmaking. And and you think, wait, you're supposed to represent us.
Just to illustrate that, our state senator Blaise Ngoliah, he filed his own bill to totally eliminate the petition process. Thankfully, it didn't go anywhere, and we got crippled instead of what they gave us. Well, it was his intent, so I'll just leave it at that.
So I think the question was, what are these current initiatives about? So one the right to clean and healthy waters is a law that, I mean, an amendment, if it became law, would simply make it possible for little people to get environmental laws enforced. It doesn't create any new laws. It says we already have standards, we already have agencies, make them do what they're supposed to do, because there's a tipping point, right? If you wait too long, can't fix it anymore. That's one, right to clean, healthy waters. It's totally volunteer. And so there aren't any, of these corporate people involved. Maxine?
I just wanted to emphasize your point and make the point that it is not punitive. There's no fine or anything attached to it. It's the agencies have to follow the laws that are there.
Follow the laws that exist.
To give an example of the Department of Environmental Protection that did not do the harm or do the fine harm. They did not do it. They attempted to do it, but it was not a very skewed. What they did was very skewed and would not work. They just did that to say they checked that box off, and this would.
It says do what's already on the books because our future depends on it. So it's about the most wholesome thing you could do, right? I mean, in terms of an amendment, who doesn't want clean and healthy water? So it's so hard to attack it, and yet this law comes in, I will say, midstream. And the campaign's already underway, and all of a sudden flip, pivot, follow a whole bunch of new rules overnight. So that's particularly galling. The other amendment is to provide Medicaid coverage to eligible low-income adults. So Medicaid is income-based assistance. Usually it's healthcare, but it could be things like residential care. And there's a whole segment of people in Florida, help me with my numbers, 1 million, Jean, who are in between. They're not poor enough to make the cutoff for assistance. They're not in jobs with an income high enough to buy private health insurance or in jobs that have benefits. So they are uninsured. Now, all but Florida and one other state refused federal dollars that already exist to expand Medicaid. That it's not even new money. It's money that was already paid by taxpayers that the federal government had offered to states for this very purpose, Medicaid expansion. And Florida has refused it time and again. So this petition was to say, no, the Constitution should require the state of Florida to accept those Medicaid funds. Again, this isn't some crazy, wild, expensive idea. The money already exists. Don't you want the people you live next door to have health care? Wouldn't that be a good idea? Don't you want single people or even women who may become pregnant to have health care in advance so their chronic illnesses can be dealt with and their maternal mortality risk goes down? I mean, there's so many implications to it besides, do you accept something from the feds who you always have an attitude about or not? So again, both of these citizen-led amendments are to correct something, to restore something, to fix something. They're not saying we want the government to each give us $100 million because we want it. It's just not selfish. And you can see where I'm going. We don't know what will happen. At best, it's going to be a super short calendar. There'll be new forms by June 1st. We can't use these. There'll be new rules by July 1st, such as if me, grandma, I have to register with the state and take training and be a citizen and be a resident and be a non-felon in order to collect more than 25 petitions. And I'm a volunteer. and all these rules were supposed to be to prevent paid petition gatherers, and they exist, most states use them, from having any opportunity to be naughty. I'm not a paid volunteer, a paid collector. I'm a volunteer. So the rules are very, very strict. You got it. Once it's signed, it's got to go. Get to the supervisor of elections within 10 days, or else $50 a day for a form. And I have to put my home address on it as a volunteer, which I'm not crazy about. And you, as a signer, have to put on your driver's license. So the way it is now, you just have to be a registered voter and you put down information that allows the supervisor of elections to confirm that.
Driver's license, you can put down the last 4 digits of your social.
Your last four or your whole social?
Last 4.
Okay, last four of your social or your driver's license. But still, that's not currently required. It's like saying, we don't trust any of you yahoos out there in the sticks and. No. Okay, I'm sorry, I talked too long. Go ahead.
And this is from the people who want less government. But we needed a $5 million fraud, voter fraud from the election that was supposed to be the safest one. Stop me. Deborah Sager is our treasurer.
There's a chance back here. Yeah.
Yes.
Backtrack a little bit, the information that was given out about the Holly Davis Zoom presentation.
Yes.
And my question is this going to be saved so that we can also go in and view it if we miss the live presentation?
God willing, and the computer works, yes, it's going to be saved.
What's going to be saved?
The Holly Davis.
Okay, will be saved.
Yes, I will. I'll be the webmaster there. I'll be recording it. Deborah, do you have something that you would like to say? Come up here. Come up here. But the microphone won't pick you up. Come on, come on, come on.
Okay, I am Deborah and I'm merely the bean counter. So I'm the treasurer and I try to keep all the records straight and make sure memberships get in, etc. Largely what I wanted to say is that while it's very difficult to have our speaker not be here, I love this opportunity for our very passionate and dedicated board members to have that opportunity to share their work with you. And they work very hard. And at most meetings, we're celebrating the people who come to share with us about their organizations. But this was a great opportunity. I appreciate people's receptiveness to that. And I just kudos to my colleagues, my board members. And as members, anybody is welcome to come and join forces. So please remember that.
And this is a dream team, folks. Do you see it? Deborah is fighting with the league to make sure that we get the money that we're supposed to be getting from every membership. Rosemary, I'm going to put you on the hot seat right now. Would you come up here, please? Did everybody copy down about Cattle Dog? Because I'm going to ask you to erase that and stay up there. Because while I have all you smart people here, our guest from the Yayas is not coming. Okay, everybody. Oh, while I have you here, before I dismiss you, what I would like you to do, I wish everybody would do it, is tell us what is important to you. We're going to do some brainstorming so that we can focus what we do for the League of Women Voters on what you're interested in. We are looking to get, we have bigger membership, 71 members now. We have a bigger membership than we ever had. We'd like to get people involved. If you want to get involved, please let a board member know. So Rosemary, who has a wonderful handwriting, is going to write down, and we can just start by you can just shouting it out. What is important to you?
Autism resources.
Okay, autism. That's going to be cured by September.
Right.
You know, it's funny, but it's not funny.
It's rather hysterical. Oh, yeah.
Okay, what else? Keep them coming, please.
Kansas.
Taxes. What about taxes?
What is the tax? Houses for.
Oh, the property tax or the sales tax. Can you imagine a 12% sales tax? Who else?
The voting rights and voter information, voter access. One of the reasons I initially joined was believe in voters and around voting issues. So I really appreciate everything that we do.
Okay, voting, absolutely. Yes.
I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this, but engagement with education about civics. That's what they called it when I was in school, where you learned how things actually work. This whole tariff conversation led me to believe that people really don't have a clue.
Educating people about the government is what you're saying, right? How it works. Oh, I jump right on top of that because I talk to people and they say things and I'm like, weren't you there that day? Due process. Are we making you nuts, Rosemary?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. What else?
The right to petition.
Right to petition. Okay.
Just the update from SOE as to new things that Mo Baird may have down the line.
Supervisor of elections. We have a very good relationship with Mo. How good is it, you ask? BJ can ask her for statistics and 5 minutes later, boom. And she's done that with me too. We're very lucky to have her there. And they're trying to make her crazy with all the laws. I know they won't.
That's a matter of fact. Action guidelines. You might want to read it. It's very informative.
Yes, they made life a lot harder for her.
$73,000 to get those guidelines in place for our town.
73,000 extra. Yes.
And it's
Yes. Now you have two things and some people have none, but that's okay. You're talking, so go for it.
Protests.
Protest. Protest. Is there a protest this Saturday?
Yes, yeah.
Is it, can you give me the information on that, please? Jean?
Coalition is sponsoring a protest downtown Inverness in the historical museum area. 4 o'clock is when it's scheduled. You can bring your own sign, or they have signs available they can pick up and use that day and give back to them.
Okay, did anybody,
What are they?
what does my sign say? Anybody read that in the newsletter? Who said that? Cassie? Oh, I wish I had a prize for you. My sign says, welcome to the 1950s on one side. And on the other side, it says resist. You're good.
Keep asking, what are they protesting?
What are they not protesting? If you look at the signs, you will see what hands off. Yes. Keep your hands off our government. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
And our bodies. Yeah.
The other one is, contacting your legislature. I mean, that's the time.
Contact legislature.
And Ruth's gonna talk about the 5 calls. She's ready when we're done with it.
Who is?
Wait,
Okay.
so because I won't be here Saturday afternoon.
Oh,
I know, I have to fly to Texas for my niece's graduation. So, obviously, how to find out, do I ever hear about it until after the Facebook, the social media coalition. Well,
yes. Healthy Coalition Facebook.
it's
4 o'clock on Saturday.
The list does not endorse a particular organization. We don't endorse a party. So we're having this discussion as concerned citizens. You know, this is not a league endorsement.
And no, but we are angry that our government is being attacked the way it is. Who else? Cassie, you don't have anything up there yet. Reproductive rights, okay. Yes,
Then we present as cutting.
cutting
Cutting like education.
education,
Okay, what was the last one? Healthcare,
yes.
care, and then information. Yes.
And what we're gonna do as a board is we're gonna work on these, but we need your help, so we need people to get involved. You can get on our website, lwvcitrus.org. You can send us an email, I would like to work on this, and we want to get you involved. We are old. Like we're getting older. Getting older every minute, and we need new blood, we need youth. Yes, BJ.
Could fall under healthcare, but. With one information, people making visits to other cities to see what's being done about homelessness.
Homelessness.
Then affordable housing as a category, I would like them.
Yeah, I hope you folks are gonna be on that Zoom with Holly Davis. Because they need to hear what we want to tell them about growth. I don't want this place to become Spring Hill.
Excuse me?
Sorry. Not your part of Spring Hill, but I remember Spring Hill when it was, 30 years ago, 35 years ago. It was a nice little, and now it's a city. I didn't move here to have this become a city. Anything else? Yes,
LGBTQ issue.
okay. So we're going to have this list and we're going to start working on it. And if you have any thoughts about things that you're interested in, get in touch with us and we can get something going. Alone, we can't do anything, but together, women power. Anything else?
You guys ready?
Need another whiteboard.
No, I'll just take a picture. Yeah, and well, you know what, okay, so the League of Women Voters of Florida, for those of you who are visitors to our meeting or aren't familiar, there are 4 main legislative issues, which are voting,
Couldn't ask it by that.
health, yes, okay, yeah, okay, voting, health care, including reproductive rights, education is a big one, and then the 4th is gun violence prevention, which we don't need to put on there because we're already doing it. But environment is actually number 5. It's been one of our top 4 priorities for years, and it just slipped this last couple of years, but it's right up there. All these other things, health care or housing, homelessness, LGBTQ, all these things are actually league priorities. So we love it.
Yes, and whatever, as the League of Women Voters of Citrus County, whatever we decide we want to work on, we will work on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Why you just made, but the 4 things Rosemary mentioned are the legislative priorities for the year. The state league takes 4, and they solicit all the leagues give input into that decision. So those top 4 are legislative priorities, but local leagues can still work on those other issues as I do, natural resources and humanitarian. We still have the statewide community committee that I'm co-chair of. I'm trying to brag. I'm just service-oriented person. I just want to be able to say that we're still working on that stuff. It's just not a legislative priority. Right. It becomes a legislative priority when it becomes a preemption issue. And then, the league would speak out on it.
Preemption, we have a whole preemption group within the league. We have a speakers bureau, and juvenile justice is a league priority. It's but if you go to League in Florida, the League of Women Voters of Florida website, you'll see there's a ton of things that we work on, but we have our top 4 priorities. So I'm going to ask gun violence, I guess.
My point is we're still working on on a local level, if that's your passion, we could still, there's maybe somebody on board or somebody in the group that can work with these.
Yes, you can see how passionate these board members are. And if you're passionate with something, we would love to work on it.
The
Jean?
other thing too is to know that Speakers Bureau, the huge priority for this particular chapter, to get out into the community and give some of these messages to our organizations that maybe are looking for programs or maybe looking for more information,
Yes,
that to them. And we've got all these different subjects that we can talk on.
the speaker, I'm in charge of the Speakers Bureau. The League of Women Voters of Florida has PowerPoint presentations on a lot of different subjects. So if you belong to an organization, you have a passion about something, get in touch with me. I want to thank you so much for being here today. We will be in touch with you with what we can do.
Who wants to do the 5 walls?
Come on up, Ruth.
It's a way of getting in touch with your life.
Come on up, Ruth. 5 calls.
It's just an app that you can download. And to know that if you're on the right, if you're on the right app, it's just a sort of a square with 5 stars. I don't know if you can see from here, but it's an app with 5 stars on it. Okay, and I'm going to go through it now to remind myself of the steps because it's really was showing Nancy how to do it. And you just press on it, and what it comes up, it already has that I'm right now in Crystal River. But it says, what's important to you?
Brooke, can we start at the App Store to get it?
Yes, you have to go to your app store and you have to download the app. It's free. And then once you click on it, it brings you right to the issues. Okay, so it's in what's important to you. And there, I don't know, 15, and there are more issues. So if I go to right here, stop the privatization of our public schools. Okay, I'll just choose that one since that was talked about by Rosemary. All right, so I'll press on that, and it gives you a whole comment and description about what that bill is here. Okay, so you can become informed.
You could get it on your computer too, so.
Yeah, oh yeah. And at the bottom, it gives you, Bilirakis, Scott, and Moody's contact. Then it says, see your script at the bottom. So you press on see your script, and it gives you a script that you can read. You just insert your name. And at the bottom, it tells you where your contact, were they unavailable? You made a contact, left voicemail, stop. And it's really here. It's Bilirakis is there at the top there but you put in there's another page, but I had already done that as I was sitting here. To put in your zip code so it can identify you, and we're all in the same county, so we all have the same people that we're contacting. But it's really simple, and it streamlines the process for you, so it's non-thinking, and it gives you all these issues that you can prioritize which ones are important to you and contact your legislators right away. It's simple. Okay.
Thank you. Would you repeat the app name again? I see people putting.
Okay, it's just 5 calls. It's up there that Rosemary has it a little cloud around it. 5 calls. Yes, Laura.
We just read the script.
What she's.
Do you read the script?
You want me to read the script?
No.
Oh, yeah, yes, you can read the script.
But I'm asking, what do you? Script?
Yes. So if I go down here and see the script, yes, it's a telephone number that you call and you read the script.
Email?
I haven't done the email yet. I've just called.
Oh, you could.
But you can probably do. You can do email.
Modify the script.
Sure. Yeah, you can do anything. I mean, you don't have to read exactly this. You can put your own 2 cents in and direct it. It's just a stepping stone, to use what you want. Did you get it, Rosemary?
Yeah, it looks federal to me right there.
Well, this, and to be honest with you, I don't know if you know who put this together, where it came from. 5 calls, does anybody know? I'm not sure who put this together, but we were excited because it streamlined everything for us. Instead of us sending out, when I say us, I'm from the Democratic Women's Club. I'm second VP. So, I weren't sure how that got started, but
Okay,
it was,
thank
it was good.
So you have lots of options. You have 5 calls. You can call your representatives. You can email them. If you email them, it becomes public record forever. That's what I prefer to do. I want to thank you for coming, and I will be in touch with you with what we can schedule as far as the IS. But please call, use 5 calls, email, because we can make a difference.
One quick thing, somebody asked, what's the background behind 5 calls? I just Googled it. It's a husband and wife team that started it in 2017, and it's just a bunch of friends.
See, just people who are passionate.
Yes, it's not a team. We know it.
So we hope to see you in June, June 11th. Who's going to speak? And he'll be here. I know he will. Scott Hebert. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Drinking our bed on the way out. Free.